streaming live on the What's on It Elephant and Castle Facebook page a little bit earlier than we had advertised. But you're trying to squish a lot in today, Leonie. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us. Everybody, this is Leonie Huie,
Hi.
who is an author, a teacher, and a mother of twins. And that means that we've got an awful lot to talk about over the next 45 minutes. But Leonie, thank you so much for joining me. How are you doing today?
Thank you. You're welcome. I'm good. I'm even better because my kids are not here. So yay.
What's that like being a mother of twins?
Uh, it has its challenges, but it's wonderful. I mean, they can be tough girls. Lots of chat now. They're four next week. But yeah, it's been a journey. It's been a really interesting journey, and I must say I'm really really grateful for the support. Having family and friends around that can help out is a must for me. So it's interesting. My girls are very very funny girls, and they make me tired and they make me happy at the same time. But they're away at their grandparents for a few days, so I get a bit of a break. So it's great.
A bit of a break during half term.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful. Leonie, I'm 50 years old. I'm the baby of my family. I have two older sisters. Both
Yeah.
of my parents have passed. And I've been on a heck of a journey over the last few years. And one thing that keeps coming back to me that has become so sacred in my life is motherhood.
Yeah.
And this world is going through an awful lot of
Mhm.
turmoil and pain, and
Yeah.
there is inequality across the board. But for me, when I think about it, I think about the inequalities with regards to even where it starts between men and women, and
Yeah.
inequality and pay gaps, and all of the different aspects, how the masculine has kind of trodden down the sacred feminine for years and years. And I
Mhm.
think about, there was just something that somebody said the other day, is that we all come from a woman, a mother.
Yes. Absolutely.
And it feels like the honoring of the mother, like it's I don't know, it's just so prominent in my life. Even though my mother has passed, I'm so grateful that she was just such a resilient and strong and beautiful woman. and
Mm.
and it's something that men don't understand, what it's like to be a mother, what it's like to have a couple of youngsters that are in your care and control.
Yeah.
And your tomorrow is the anniversary of your first book as an author,
Yeah.
which is the first year is survival. That's what it's called,
Yeah.
right? Can
Yeah.
you can you tell us, what the first year of being a mother to twins was like for you?
Yeah, it was for me it was a challenging year. I mean, everything you said is just spot on. Having that mother figure is something quite special, I say, because I do have people around me who don't have mums, and
Mm.
special days like Mother's Day and birthdays, Christmases can be quite emotional for some people, and having that mother figure around you, it just makes you feel warm. It makes you feel comfortable. I mean, that's me speaking about my mother, but with my kids, my first year was really really tough, and I hadn't had children before. I fell pregnant, and I was told it's twins, and I was very shocked, to say the least. And people say to me, "Oh, how come you were so shocked? You've got twins in your family," but it was still quite a shocker. So my twins are set 7 in my family, of twins,
Oh.
and my husband has 2 sets of twins in his family. So altogether, there's like 9 sets of twins, and it was really tough for me. I had really bad anxiety. And I kept worrying about obviously just carrying them. Those if you say 9 months, but for some women they don't carry for 9 months, because with twins they don't tend to make you go the full term, depending on the type of pregnancy you have. So I have fraternal twins, which means they're not identical. I had 2 sacks. I was very heavy, and I just would waddle everywhere like a duck. Literally, I was waddling, and it was a journey. It was a really tough journey, and like I said, I'm so grateful for the support I had around me. The anxiety didn't stop. It got even more intense when I gave birth. I had a cesarean. My kids were breached. So basically, they were like that in my stomach.
Oh.
So the first one came out. very healthy. Second one came out very healthy. So I'm blessed in that respect, because I know some women who have had complications, which I talk about in my book. And you know, when I was in the hospital, I got a lot of support and they were just really helpful. But when I got home, reality hit. That's where it hit me. And I was like, oh my God, I've got 2 small babies and I've got to do everything at the same time. How do I do this? And even though I have twins in my family, when you kind of do it yourself, it's very different, because the twins are much older all in my family now. The youngest are like in their 30s. So it was quite a challenge for me. Me and my husband didn't sleep much. It wasn't even a case where we tried to take it in turns to sleep, because that just didn't work. People would say, you know, try and get them to sleep at the same time, didn't work. Try and feed them at the same time, didn't work. I did breastfeed for about a month or so, didn't work after a while. So I just turned to bottle feeding. I had to feed like this. I had to hold like this. Everything was together. And I tried to do, you know, to keep that bond strong that twins have anyway. It's a natural bond, but I kept it strong by making them sleep together, just doing everything together. And it was a lot of work, as well as me being on about 2 or 3 hours sleep. So it was quite challenging for me. And then I got to think to myself, oh my God, like there are mums and dads out there who are going through exactly the same thing that I'm going through. I mean, how do they cope? And that got me starting to write a journal. I just wrote a journal because the journal basically came from the idea of me after I had my twins, I started having counselling because I had really bad postnatal depression and anxiety. It was really, really bad. And I just didn't want to do anything. I didn't want to get out of my bed. I didn't want to go nowhere. And as I spoke with my counsellor, she really helped me to understand that it's not me. You know, women do go through postnatal depression. I didn't even realise I had it at the time. So just having conversations with her, my doctor, my health visitor, who also had twins, which was really helpful. The support, you know, the healthcare support that I had around me was great. And then as I was writing this journal, I was just writing about how I was feeling, the different things I did with my twins. And then a year later, I think when my twins turned about 1.5, I decided to put it into a book. And I thought, you know what, there's lots of parents out there who need help. There's lots of parents out there who don't know where to get help. You know, there's single mums out there looking after twins on their own. There's single dads out there looking after twins on their own, because some women do die in childbirth. And, you know, they've got whoever they have around them to help them, you know, to just be kids. So I met some wonderful parents of twins, triplets, quads. I mean, I met quads. I couldn't believe I know quads. And they were going through exactly the same thing I was going through. And it made me feel, even though it was the pain they were going through, I understood it. And it just made me feel normal. It made me realize, you know what, you're not on your own here. There are people out there who are going through exactly the same thing you're going through. So, you know, you're not on your own. You're not going crazy. You're not, you know, you don't think that, you know, you're doing something wrong. These things happen. And, you know, as time gets on, things will get better. So I decided to write the book based on that, really. And what I did in the book was my book has 10 chapters, and I covered topics such as sleep deprivation, date night with your partner, because I think that's really important, spending time with your partner. What else did I cover? I covered traveling, because we traveled abroad with our twins. When they were just under 1, we went to Mexico. Oh my God, that was another story in itself. But traveling with twins, like what to pack. Returning to work, you know, after having twins, how do you return to work? That was really tough for me. So I wrote about different things like that. And at the end of each chapter, I had different, what can I call it? So I got different information from parents of multiples. They basically talked about their experiences. So people who read the book, they can see, okay, so this mum did this, or this dad did this. So I didn't just ask mums how they coped with different aspects of life with twins and triplets, because my book covers twins, triplets, quads. And it also covers aspects of the dad's perspective, because there are lots of dads out there who are really hands-on. There's lots of dads out there who are the main carer of their you know, their multiples while mum works. So, you know, every family is different, and it was quite interesting just to hear the stories of some women and men of what they were going through. And they gave me lots of tips for future parents of multiples and how to survive. So I ended up writing this book here, and it's a great book. Tomorrow, as you said, tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of my book. It's quite exciting for me. It's been a journey. And every time I look at my book or someone mentions it to me, I think about, you know, my journey as a mum of multiples and how I have survived that first year, because the first 365 days is a make or break kind of, you know, survival skills that you learn once you've got past, I think, that major milestone, and you've got into like a system of how things work for you in your household and your family and your friends, then life can become a bit easier for you.
Yeah, beautiful. I wonder about it. A few things. The one thing that that's going through my mind is as you talk about, you know, all of the hurdles, you know, and the fact that you said that you were not alone, and that many people are go through challenges in their first year and after. You know, my partner, like, I think people call it the fourth trimester. You know,
Yeah,
like you have
definitely.
and it's something that I'm wondering, because of today's modern capitalistic culture, you know, and let's say that for the last couple of 100 years, how parents of children have become so disassociated with the process and the honoring of the birth of a child. And my father used to teach on a indigenous reserve in Canada, and you know, and they have the saying of, it takes a village to raise a child.
Absolutely.
And many of the aunties and nieces and some of the young boys would help, you know, play with the children and keep them occupied. And there was no putting the children into these boxes and you know,
definitely.
Like, and you know, do you think that, like, do you think it'll change? Do you think that the first year needs to be about survival? Do you think that we will go back to the old ways one day, or are we going to just try to cope?
I think it's a mixture of the both, really, because I mean, with that first year, it's a crucial year. You want to bond with your children or child, whichever you have. You want it to be special. You want to, you want to remember. And for some people, they don't remember that first year at all. I haven't forgot it. I don't think I'd ever forget it, because it was such a challenge for me, and also very special in a sense that it takes a village, and I had that village. I had a whole town. When I come to think about it, like, I had a town or a city of people helping me, you know, and even my neighbor helping me, and it was. I just felt really special, and I'm just so grateful that I had that. And I think, you know, we do, you know, as a mother or a father or a carer, whoever we are, we always want to protect our kids, and we do put them in that bubble. Not because we don't want them to see, you know, to experience things, but we want to protect. It's that kind of protection that we have. And like you were talking about your dad and indigenous people, they have that same click, don't they? They want to protect, they want to help, they want to nurture, they want to, you know, and I think that's important. But at the same time, will we go back to that? I think we are there, and I think that I think keeping that is important. I think having that village is important. Some people don't have it; they can't. They're not in that surroundings. They might just be away from family and friends. They're on their own because of where they live. For those that have it, I'm sure they're very grateful. But I think either way, I think it's really important that first year we kind of focus on the growing, the nurturing, the love, and because children remember that. They don't, not directly, but, you know, psychologically, unconsciously, they know that they've got that mother around, they've got that father around or care around to help them to grow, to help them if they need to speak to somebody, if you know, just for a hug. If they've fallen over, those kind of things, you know, they have that loving surroundings, that group of people that are always there to kind of, you know, support them when they need it. I think that's important.
I think it's really important to get the message out to people who do not have children or are planning on having children, in that, especially in the corporate setting, because most people spend, more time at work than anything else. And I've heard things like, oh, they chose to have a baby, they should be back at work, and it's their responsibility, rather than, oh, wow, another beautiful being has come into this planet. What can we do to help and support? And I think that the level of compassion, I think, around, because I don't have children of my own. My partner has 3. young boys that I've become like bonus dad to.
Mm.
And before all of this, I was like quite happy because I hadn't had children of my own. I was like, you know, does the world need more kids? And we were overpopulated. All these like inane, stupid thoughts. When really, you know, it took, actually my dad was like, Nick, if you had children, the world needs children that you would have, because we need to, there's always going to need it for good young minds and compassionate people to come out, and good people who are going to be, you know, scientists and healers and beautiful people. So like I was like, yes, the world always needs children, you know.
Yes,
It's
it
one,
does.
we need
We were
to,
all children, you know, we were all children once, you know.
yeah,
The world does need
yeah,
children. I'm glad you touched on the whole corporate you know, life, because I mean, for me, I'm not in a corporate industry. I teach part-time, and I went part-time once I became a mum. It wasn't because I wanted to. I hadn't planned to go part-time. My life just led me in that direction. In my mind, I said to myself, I want to spend more time with my kids because
yeah,
they grow so fast. I've got lots of children in my family, and they grow really quickly, and I don't want to miss those important stages of their development. They're still going through their milestones. You know, they're 4 next week, and you know, all children go through developmental milestones until they're, you know, they're 18, till they reach, you know, adulthood. And I just want to be around for those earlier years. I'm lucky enough to be in a financial position where I can work part-time and my husband works full-time. You know, we work around taking the kids to nursery and collecting them. We have a system that works for us. And I just think it's important that, you know, employers are more in tune with mothers working. I'm not saying to give us favoritism. That's not what I'm saying here, because there are women who never have kids. There are men who never have kids. But it would just be nice for them to be a bit more, you know,
compassionate.
Yeah, compassionate, in tune with
Yeah,
life, realizing, hold on a minute, you know, yes, you do work in this particular industry, but your mum looked after
yeah,
you. Like, don't forget that. Like,
yeah,
your mum may have sacrificed having, you know, a career herself to raise you to where you are in this position right now, you know. So it's just, please, you know, don't be hard on women. We're not trying to just take liberties. That's not what we want to do. We want to have a career as well as have children. I think that's fair. And like I said, I'm lucky enough to be in a job where I have that flexibility, but not everybody has that. And unfortunately, they do want women, you know, they do want to spend that time with their kids, but they can't because they have to work. So that's where childcare comes in. And just moving on slightly, but childcare costs in this country are astronomical. I'll give you an example. When we were first looking at the twins going to nursery, when I was returning to work, so they were about 10 months, and the nursery fees were £1,800 each a month. And I was just like, I just said to my husband, that's just not going to happen. Like, we've
no,
got twins, we have to pay double everything. And a lot of the nurseries in my area were either, well, it's between 1,600 plus. The one that we really liked was 1,800. And, you know, they offered us a 10% discount, which I had to laugh at because, I mean, they were being nice, but that's nothing. I mean, I just thought, can I pay, you know, over £3,000 a month in childcare? No. You know, it's a lot of money. And, you know, Scandinavian countries, other European countries, you don't pay for childcare. Sending your children to nursery is free. So what are we doing wrong? Like, where are we going wrong? I mean, I'm not, you know, I'm not one for trying to encourage tax increases, but if it was the case, my tax had to go up to cover childcare, I would be happy to pay that. I would be happy to pay into a system like that, but having to pay over £3,000 a month is a lot of money. My kids couldn't walk, they couldn't talk, you know, there's not really much they're doing, they're not learning anything. So yeah, it's quite challenging. It really is.
I think people just have a problem seeing the bigger picture, that
Mm-hmm.
the more that we invest into childcare and good solid education in those first 5 years for children, and make it easier for parents who are like, you know, my partner is a single mother of 3 boys and had to
A lot
pay,
of
like, so
work.
there was days when she was working
Mm.
and would have to drop the kids off at breakfast club and then pick them up at after school club, and it would cost her more than what she earned in the day.
Yeah.
And now you're looking at children who are going to like malnutrition and not
Mm-hmm.
getting proper clothing and not getting
Yeah.
proper heating. and those children ending up not getting properly nurtured, and perhaps with mental issues or mental health, and not being nurtured in the way where they can be positive, beautiful people in the world that they should be able to be. And we just don't, I think a lot of people just don't see the bigger picture. And again, they always go, oh, you chose to have kids. And it's like, no, we can't, we've got to get rid of that mentality.
Absolutely.
And I think we have to be able to nurture families.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And it would be nice for, I mean, there's a lot of employers out there who are quite helpful when it comes to children. I mean, I know the NHS, some NHS hospitals have childcare, like daycare centres in the hospitals. It would be great if, you know, more companies could, you know, do that, you know, have sort of daycare. I'm sure some, you know, people would be happy to pay out of their wages for, you know, childcare, so, you know, at work. It's just easy. You can go into work, leave your kids downstairs and then go upstairs to the office. It just saves so much time and money. And we're not saying, like I said, it's not a case of us wanting handouts here. You know, I haven't claimed benefits for my childcare. We've always paid for it, my husband and I. And it's some women, you know, they do. Some men, they do have to claim benefits for childcare because that's just how life is. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's just help each other out. It's not that hard. I just think sometimes it's either a selfish mentality or I just don't care mentality, and that's not what we want for our children. It really isn't.
No, you're right. And I think that's the thing, is that people who don't have children or in the corporate setting or all that, I think that's where some education and some awareness needs to come to, so that they can go, oh, do you know what, this is going to make a more positive atmosphere for everybody. And I would put this on, like, if my business ever gets to the point where we have an office space that's big enough, I'm going to say kids are welcome. Kids and pets, just bring everybody down and because everyone, like, that's the other thing is, like, you know, we work a lot in the corporate environment, and over the last year and a half, we've seen that productivity has gone up from people who have been able to work from home, who are properly supported.
Isn't that interesting how productivity has gone up? And a lot of employers, I mean, even like yourself, a lot of employers were worrying about the pandemic. Oh my God, my business, etc. And what they realized is their business is booming whilst people are working from home, you know. And it just goes to show, change your mentality, change your mindset, because women are productive at work and at home. Boom, you've got best of both worlds. Yeah.
And if they're properly supported, you know, with you know, task orientated work, instead of sitting at your screen for a certain amount of time and saying, oh, you were only at your screen for 6 hours instead of 8 hours, and we pay you for 8 hours. You know, that's got to go. You know, this has got to come down to, you know, here are the tasks that are given today. When you're finished them, go play with your children. You know, go have some
productivity. It's all about productivity. If the person's being productive and they're doing the job that they're doing in that day, in that space of time, it doesn't matter about being on your screen for 8 hours a day. Who wants to be in front of a computer for 8 hours a day anyway? Unless you're a software developer, or you're designing games or something, that's different. But, you know, on average, you know, we don't do that. We just don't. When we have breaks, you know, we have a little coffee break, we have our lunch breaks. It's to give people time. I mean, like I said, like, productivity has gone through the roof with some companies, with people being at home. Hence the reason why they're allowing people to do half week at work, half week at home. You know, it works. It works for some people.
Yeah, build instead of like having everyone in the office, have 50% of the office, create some creche space and some nice fun space, and play. We should run the world, shouldn't we?
We should run the world. I mean, we really should.
How long have you're a part-time teacher now, right? Like,
I teach part-time now. I've been teaching part-time for 3 years now. And I've been teaching for 15 years. It's been an interesting journey. I fell into teaching. I wasn't planning on teaching. I actually wanted to go into social work, and I kind of changed my mind halfway through my degree, and decided I wanted to go into teaching. But yeah, it's been really rewarding. I teach in secondary schools. I've taught in secondary schools across London. It is tough. It's not easy at all. I've taught some amazing children who've gone on to do great jobs. You know, they've gone into great careers. My subject is health and social care. So in actual fact, a lot of the students that I've taught are running the country with the healthcare system right now. You know, they've gone on to be nurses and midwives and practitioners and social workers. They've gone into medicine, pharmaceuticals. It's been a really interesting career, and it's nice when they come back and tell you, oh miss, you know, I'm a qualified social worker now, or I'm a qualified paramedic, you know, and it's
Wow.
just amazing. It's amazing that they've actually got there. So yeah, my job it's fun. I love it. I love teaching.
So when we sort out the corporate world, we've got to sort out the political system and to make sure that people who work in those kind of industries, care industries, are rewarded properly, because that's the one thing, you know, NHS,
definitely.
education, social services are not financially compensated for the love and the care that they give into their, and they do it because they're passionate about helping people.
Exactly. It's a passionate job. We don't get paid the greatest money, but it's about passion. I mean, people do not go into work to be abused. Let's just keep it real here. They don't get out of their morning and say, oh, I'm going to get ready, I'm going to go to work, and I'm going to listen to all those people who are abusing me because I haven't had treatment today. You know, it's a really tough job. And I mean, we all know what's happening with GPs now. We all know that we have a shortage of GPs in the country. We've had a shortage of GPs in this country for years. It's not even a new thing. It's just more visible now because of COVID and what's happened. We've had this issue for years. So, you know, when we're teaching children, why not pump money into the education system and train kids from young to be GPs? It's just it's not a hard way to, you know, to work it out. It's just, I just worry about our government sometimes. I really do think my students could run the country. I really do think they should all just go down to Parliament, open the doors, and just put it in place. I'm telling you, it's just crazy. Like, they know, they see what's happening around them. You know, my students are older, so they're very aware of what's happening in the news. They watch it even more now, which is great. They know what's going on. They're more interested in politics, which is great. They're more aware of who our prime minister is and politicians. This is all new. And I'm, you know, in a way, COVID has helped this because they've been in lockdown for quite a long time. You know, schools were shut for a really long time. We think about over a year, you know, schools have been shut. So what have kids been able to do? They've been at home because, you know, the parks were closed. You know, they couldn't go out. So they're watching the TV, they're watching social media, they're seeing what's going on in this world. And they are clever. Like, children are clever. They know. Let's not be trying to keep it under the wraps here. Children know what is going on. Like, you can ask the child a question about something. They want to have a big conversation with you about it, you know, because they see it. But miss, I saw this, and you know, but the politician said this, and they can have a conversation with you, which is great. But I just feel like, you know, with politics, politicians need to listen more to younger people, because at the end of the day, they're the ones who are going to be paying the tax next. You know, they're the ones who are going to be paying back the COVID money that we spent. You know, all that billions of pounds we've spent, they're the ones going to be paying it. They need to listen to what they are saying. They need to pump more money into education, more money into the health service and social care service. You know, they need to pump more money into training and development for young children. And I listened to Rishi Sunak yesterday when he delivered his speech, and I just said, I really hope that they are going to do that with education. I mean, he did say some good things about education, but all we can do is wait and see where the money goes, because everything's about money, unfortunately. But let's just see where it goes. Let's just see who gets it. It's not just about London kids. It's about kids all over the UK. We have to keep it fair. There are different places in our country that are less developed, and they need more help than we do. So I hope that they do, you know, reach those smaller communities and get kids on the ladder of development and training. It's really important.
I hope they do too. Unfortunately, through experience, I understand that they're only going to do stuff that protects corporations and their pockets. Like, Rishi Sunak is a millionaire himself. It's hard. Exactly. It's hard for me to be able to go, okay, this guy understands, you know, what you know, middle to lower class families are going through right now with having to cut their heat. They have no concept of it. And I feel like your students, that generation, are going to revolt. I feel Definitely. Because we are numb to it. Because we've been put into that numb spot where we know it's wrong what they're doing, but we're not going to go march on Downing Street because we're comfortable getting in here and it's getting our little bit of money and doing things and paying our taxes. And it's just kept us safe. And it kept us from thinking about revolting and about saying this is wrong. And I'm praying that one day the youth will stand up and go, you know, because I mean, I would go join them, but unfortunately, I just feel that the systems that we're in need to change, and
Yes.
it's going to take a mass revolt to do it, because until, you know, Richie Sunak was just up there just pleasing people with words.
Yeah, and it's very true, because he took the corporations that he would talk, you know, Amazon, you know, are still not paying tax. Like, how is that? Like Google, like, come on, it's insane. And then you tax the poorest people. You know, some people are going to end up playing Robin Hood. You know, they really are. And we shouldn't be living. We're one of the richest countries in the world. We should not be living in a society where we leave our homes and we see people begging in the streets.
One in six people in this country.
What are we going?
Yeah.
Where are we going with that?
1 in 6 people, 1 in 6 in this country are in the poverty, and that's the more than any other developed nation on the planet. We've got more poverty per capita than anyone, and it just doesn't make sense.
It doesn't,
because there's so much abundance. You know, I was thinking about it as you were talking too. Like, I have a buddy he's my age, and he never listens to these, so he's not gonna hear it. But he's a hedge fund guy, and he is a multi-millionaire many times over. Like, he's got more money than I think he even knows. I once heard him on the phone buy a piece of artwork for £250,000 pounds. Like that. So, and I said to him, "What do you do?" And he's like, "I make money." I'm like, "Well, what do you do?" And there's a whole industry of people in Canary Wharf and in the city that go there just to make money. But then there's one of your students who's probably getting paid early, like low 20s, maybe high teens as a paramedic. What did you do today? I saved someone's life.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. It's crazy, right? I know. No balance. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense. To be fair, he works, it's his job. I can't even say it's unfair, but it's just the balance. It's the balance of it. And, you know, if anyone should be getting paid 6 figures, it's the nurses. I'm not interested in consultants. I'm interested in the nurses on the front line who are working 12-hour shifts, who are saving lives. They're the ones who should be getting paid the money. I would be happy to pay more tax if I knew the money was going to the nurses, the porters, the care assistants. Also, what about the people, you know, carers? Where's the carers allowance? All those people who are caring for people in their homes. We're actually doing the government a favor, because they're saving money, you know, having to pay out. So those carers who are not working and having to care for their loved ones at home, why are we not helping them? I mean, where's the love? Where's the love?
Where is the love? It's just it's actually heartbreaking. I mean, I have no idea what my kids are going to grow up to do, but one thing I would say as a parent that I will always teach them is to give back. You have to give back. I'm not talking about in money. It just could be your time. You know, I've done plenty of voluntary work in my years, and there's no harm in you giving an hour of your week to help somebody in need. It's all about community and giving back to me. And that's what kids need to learn. We teach them that in school. Yes, we do. But at the same time, you know, I know there's children that I teach who are young carers. They do care for their parents. Sometimes they have to miss out on school because they're caring for parents who are sick. You know, there's kids who are in the foster care system. You know, they're coming to school and they're trying their best to integrate. You know, and then there's children who are lucky enough to have it all. And yet, why not? They should be able to have it all because they're kids. And we shouldn't be, you know, children should just be allowed to be children. They shouldn't have to have anything to worry about. Let them enjoy their childhood. Let them be nurtured and let them grow. But there's parents out there, unfortunately, who can't do that because it's always about the money. And that's what concerns me. That's what bothers me. So where's the love? We need to help more. I think we need to help more.
But like you said, we need to help more. But it seems like it is like there are so many carers and people out there who do love to give back and to do and I think it is this kind of awakening that is happening. I mean, I went away for a week by myself just to kind of recharge the batteries. And
sounds great.
Yeah, it was nice. And I was, Leonie, I sat, it was just in the Algarve in Portugal. And
nice.
you know, my business partner, she's very spiritual, very believes in the sacred feminine and sacred masculine, and is into like Mama Earth, you know, Lady Gaia. And I call the earth Mama Earth. And I'm starting as a white privileged man, I'm starting to understand, and I've been through a recovery process in a 12-step program, and the 12th step is all about being of service. And it's taught me, and my name of my company is Retribe, where we're honoring the evolution of man, where we always were part of a tribe and a system and a community, as you just said. And part of that was that we had a role, and we were always contributing to the tribe. We weren't taking away from the tribe. We were contributing to the tribe, and we had a role and we had a purpose. Over the last couple of 100 years, we've lost our purpose, and we've been compartmentalized into the mechanics of capitalism and serving for the pound and the dollar. We've become a commodity. And I sat in the ocean, I stood in the ocean, and the waves were just like this. It was beautiful. And I just started to,
I'm jealous.
I just started to cry because I felt connected, even though I was there all alone. I felt connected, and I felt like, yes, I have a purpose on this planet. And it's not to make money, it's to help people.
Yes. It really is. It is. And I mean, I try and help as many people as I can. I give what I can without, putting my own mental health at risk, because teaching has been tough. It's been, this term alone, this half term we've just had from September to October. I mean, I've seen it on the faces of my colleagues. They've tried their best. It's really hard. We're educating as many kids as we can. We all want them to thrive. We want them to do the best they can. It's not just about going into a classroom and teaching a lesson. It's about planning that lesson so all kids are learning, including the children who have special needs. There's a lot of paperwork that goes in teaching. There's a lot of marking, which I hate, but it has to be done. But we do the job because we want to do the job. Nurses do the job because they want to do the job. We want to help people, and I just feel like charity, it does start at home. It really does. But we also need to find a way to give back to our communities, whatever way we can. Like I said, 1 hour is enough. It may not even be that long. It could be just sending an email. It could be sending a text message. It could be, just giving something to your neighbor. I mean, I cook a lot for my neighbor. My neighbor's in his late 70s, and I cook him. He loves West Indian food, so I cook him West Indian food all the time, and that's me helping him out. He's not, a young guy anymore. He's not working anymore. He's on his pension, so I help out as much as I can. But it's just about just showing some love, once again, going back to where's the love.
I heard a beautiful speaker once talk about his definition of love. And he was like, love is really simple for me. Love is an action from me to you. He goes, it's a one-way street. He goes, my love for you is one way with no expectation of anything in return. And I was like, wow, that was just beautiful. So let me love you with no expectation of anything in return. And what happens with me is that self-esteem. And then I can start looking after myself so that I can continue to love others. And it becomes this beautiful kind of, it's like a symbiotic relationship between giving and then ultimately receiving from the universe everything that you need instead of the things that you want. And it's been a beautiful process, and I'm grateful that people like you are around doing what you're doing, and the people in my life are doing what they're doing, which is ultimately to be able to help people. And I'm thinking, I know we're running out of time, and I want to quickly cover education and the kind of what's happened with the students over the last year and a half, because there would have been a lot of trauma caused over the last year and a half.
It's incredible. A number of mental health issue cases are astronomical. I don't even know how. I mean, I'm just talking about my school. Like, there are hundreds of schools in this country. So I'm assuming that we're all going through the same thing here, of trying to help those children who are suffering from mental health issues, and staff as well suffering from mental health issues who also have children themselves. It's been a lot. And my school has put systems in place to help children. My colleagues are helping many children as they can. There are organizations that help people as well. There's a company called A Space. They help young people. Gingerbread help people. I mean, there's so many organizations, but there's not enough people working for them, so they can't help those children who need that help just like that. There's long waiting lists. We're talking even with just adults, there's waiting lists for like over a year to have counseling. With children, it's months and months on end. So I don't know when that's going to end. We just don't know when that's going to end. It's really, 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 really sad right now.
I don't know if I think people think about the pandemic like, okay, let's everyone get vaccinated, let everyone get their booster jabs, and let's just move on. And I think what we need to really be aware of, it's just like the end of a war, there's a lot of what's it when you go to rehabilitate, convalesce, which means a lot of compassion and safe spaces needs for like you said, for everybody, because everyone's been affected by it. And I think this is people being aware, compassionate, knowing that maybe maybe the virus will disappear one day, but it's left in its wake a lot of trauma and a lot of healing that needs to happen.
So much trauma amongst young people. I mean, suicide rates are up amongst young people. Depression, anxiety, children have low self-esteem. It's all sad. It's very, very sad. And we try our best. Remember, we're teachers, but I always say to people, I may be a teacher, but I feel like I'm a doctor, a nurse, a social worker, a counselor, a therapist. I feel like it's all of it all rolled in one, because I've had kids come into my classroom and cry. I've had, and there's me trying to teach a lesson. It's very difficult. These are behind the scenes that not the average person would see. So it's quite challenging. And, there's times I've come home and I've cried because I'm just like, I can't imagine, what these kids are going through at home when they leave school. And for a lot of them, school is their safe space, because home for a lot of them isn't their safe space. So how do we deal with that? It's hard.
You know what, Leonie, I think thinking about the bankers and the carers, the world will eventually not need bankers the way that we have them today. The world is always going to need carers. Always. And like you said at the beginning, those are vocations that come from the heart. Absolutely. People feel drawn to that. And I think the world is never going to be without compassionate, kind, loving people. And I do ultimately believe that will win at the end of the day.
Absolutely. Me too. Definitely.
How can we're running out of time. I just want to let people know, how can they get in touch with you if they want to know more about you and your book?
Right. So my website is www.leoniehuie.co.uk, and everything is on my website. Everything.
Amazing. Leonie, thank you so much for adjusting your time so that we could get you on. I know the Elephant and Castle community are great people, and they are. They're great. What you had to say today, I'm sure it will resonate with a lot of people. So thank you for being here and being of service.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Okay. Thanks everybody for joining us, and we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye. See you.